Dunzo as a startup raised hundreds of crores of rupees from Google, Reliance, you name it, yet it could not survive. But now, interestingly, one of the co-founders of Dunzo has started his own venture and he has already raised more than 100 crore rupees. And guess what? All of this fundraise has happened not through equity shares, but through CCPS. That's a compulsorily convertible preference share, and it is so ideal for the investors as well as the founders. That is why it is always used. And now the natural question emerges is that why is it so useful? Why is it so ideal in such scenarios? So in short, in simplest terms, if I were to explain, it gives the investor an upside of other equity holders. Now you have to understand that a CCPS essentially is a preference share in the beginning and eventually converts into equity. And CCPS are generally accompanied with at least a 1x liquidation preference. And how it works essentially is that, let's say if the investor company has invested 10 crores in a startup and the startup is doing reasonably well, but they are selling it off, or maybe it's struggling and they're selling it off, and they're selling it off, let's say for 20, 30, 40, whatever crores. The first obligation that is on this startup is not to pay the equity shareholders for their particular shares, but to pay these preference shareholders with a 1x liquidation preference. So this gives the investor a slight security of their investment. And even for the founders, it is somewhat interesting and advantageous, because when you are issuing preference share or CCPS, these people, the investors, they come on your cap table for sure, but they do not acquire voting rights like an equity holder does. And while yes, these CCPS holders also get voting rights, but those voting rights are very limited to certain issues only. So as a founder, the advantage is that yes, even though these people, the investors, are on your cap table, but you still get to retain the control of the company.